Now, as I've written out, it stands for frustration, anger, disappointment, embarrassment, and sadness. Probably going, Okay, so kind of breaks down like this. For every relationship that we have in life, that's with money, that's with stuff, that's with our higher power, that's with our parents, siblings, spouse, children, humans in general, we tend to stack up frustration, anger, disappointment, embarrassment, and sadness. All the other emotions that we feel, like more negative emotions, ones that don't leave us feeling warm and fuzzy, generally break down into these things. And once you've had an experience with a parent about maybe you have an experience with a parent about money, then you carry those feelings that came from that experience forward with you to every other future experience you'd have about money. Or you said a prayer and things still didn't turn out the way that you hoped they would. You're probably carrying disappointment, sadness, anger, and frustration around with you that colors your desire to pray in the future. You had a frustrating interaction with a coworker. I even said frustrating right out of the gate. Or something happened and you were embarrassed about in front of someone that you value their opinion. You carry that with you forever moving forward. Sure, it might get fainter. Maybe you bury it under a lot of different stuff. But at some point, at some stage in your life, that is going to pop right back up. And all of those things take up space inside of you. They deepen a crevice in your brain that stores how you feel about money, or how you feel about coworkers, or how you feel about family, or etc., etc., etc. And as you collect these things, we tend not to think about them. We try and brush them off. We try and push them down because we don't want to dwell on it. We don't want to think about it. Have a little secret, guys, though. If you don't get rid of it, it's always going to show up again. So the homework for you guys, if you choose to accept it, is to sit down. And there's two ways to do it. One way is every night you choose one type of relationship in your life. Your money, your spouse, your family, higher power, wherever you're feeling particular emotion being drawn out, sit down and write a couple pages and cover each one of these things. I feel frustrated with my higher power because blah, 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 blah. I am angry with my higher power because blah, 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 blah. I am disappointed. Embarrassment. I'm embarrassed. Sad. And maybe you're not even feeling those things at him, but just with the relationship in general. Or maybe you do feel those things, but you hope that if you bury it down far enough, no one will ever know. It's always going to be there. And guess what? You're human. You're mortal. We all feel those things. So instead of trying to hide them, how about you pull them up? Because guess what, guys? No one's ever going to read this. No one's ever going to see it. Because once you write it down on paper, guess what? Tear it up with your hands and burn it. Or chuck it in the garbage. And never, ever, ever let anyone else see it. So that's the first option. Every night, tackle every one of those things. Or the way that I like to do it is each night for a week, tackle one of those things. Choose a relationship. Money, for example. I feel frustrated with money because, and you write, and you write, and you write, and you write. And you just keep writing until there's nothing else left. And then the next night, I feel angry with money or about money because, and you write. And the next night, the next one, next night, next night. Now, as you'll notice, there's only 5 of these. So the last 2 nights are bonus nights where I like to think of it as mopping up. I sit down and then I just go through every one of these in one go because there's not as much left at that point. So I'm just kind of cleaning up all the pieces, seeing how they interconnect, how my frustration and my anger go together, or my sadness and embarrassment go together. So those last 2 nights, you're going to cover all your bases. And at the end, then write one last thing. And it either looks like, I love this relationship because, and write it all out. Or, I am grateful for this relationship because. Because now that you've taken out all of that icky stuff and you've figured out what all of that stuff is, it's now time to look to the positive, look for the best, and rebuild that relationship in the best way